Okay, welcome back. So what we're talking about today is we are talking about this concept of the Y-intercept, and it shows up, it has a nickname of B in our what we call the slope-intercept equation. So over here you can go ahead and write the slope-intercept equation form. It's y equals mx plus b, and just circle the b because that's what we're talking about today. And when you circle a b, make sure you circle the sign that goes with it. Sometimes it'll be positive, sometimes it'll be negative. It's going to tell you everything you need to know. It's going to tell you everything you need to know about this equation. Again, the words that we've given it is a start. So write start over here. It's also called constant. We can put that over here, constant, because that is the term over here. This is the constant. It is the starting point. And somewhere here, let's write here, when x equals 0, y equals b. When x equals 0, y equals b. So let's look and see how that shows itself in different scenarios. So when you see this graph, here's a graph of a line. And what we're talking about is that B is the starting point for the line wherever it crosses the y-axis. So what I want you to do is put a big Y up here, and let's bold the y-axis. Okay? And the B is going to be the number, where I put this little dot right here, it's going to be the number where the line crosses or intercepts the y-axis. We call that the Y-intercept. It's where the line intercepts the y-axis. The graphed line intercepts the y-axis. So in this case, the address for where these two lines intersect is 0, 2. So just like when I said up here, when x is 0, y equals b. Well, x is 0 here at this address, 0, 2, and where these two lines intersect, b is going to equal 2. Okay, so it's very simply, you're going to put your pencil where these two lines intersect, where the line intercepts the y-axis, and that's going to be your number that represents your constant or your starting point or your b in your equation. Now, how does that look on a table? Well, on this table, I'm going to simply put my eyes on this table. The first thing I want to figure out is when x is 0. Here it is right here on this first one. I want to circle when x is 0, what's y? Y is 3. For this table, b is going to equal 3. How about the next one? The first thing I'm going to look at, where is x equals 0? Right here. X equals 0 here, y equals 1, so b equals 1. And then this last one, here I've got x equals 0 and y equals 0. So here, b is going to equal 0. So very simply, when I see it on a graph, I'm just finding wherever the y-intercept is, and that's going to be my b. If I'm given a graph, I'm just going to figure out where is x equals 0, and y is going to give me what my b is. And then if I see it in an equation just like this, I already know which one of these represents b. It is the constant that's being added or subtracted to. So really, there is no math here. It is just identifying where is the number that represents b. Is it in the equation? It's being added to or subtracted. If it's in a table, it's the opposite side of when x is 0, and if it's in a graph, it's where the line crosses that y-axis. All right, let's practice. So from an equation, we're going to substitute x for 0. Now, you're going to see what happens pretty soon. If I substitute x for 0, what's 0 times negative 5?
0.
Yeah, 0 plus 6 is what I would wind up with. Equals y, so y equals 6. And in fact, it is a negative 6. So when we substitute x for 0, what do we have left? We have our constant out here, which is a positive 6. So every time you see an equation, that's why you know that b, your starting point, is going to be the number that represents the constant in that equation. So number 2, if we substitute 0 for x here, 0 times 3 is what number? 0. It's 0 again. 0 minus 2 is going to equal y. So y then is going to equal a negative 2. So again, here's my constant, minus 2, negative 2. When I substitute x for 0, b is going to be what I have left over. B is going to be simply what is being added to or subtracted to this form of the equation. How about for number 3? Can we figure out what's b here? Negative 4. That x has to be 0. Y is going to be negative 4 if x is 0, so b is negative 4. How about number 4? What's my constant? B is positive 1. Number 5? Negative 3. And number 6? Negative 9. Good. So I'll let you guys finish that. You've got it figured out. But just to be clear, when I go back and graph these different graphs, the line is going to, all of these different lines are going to intersect the y-axis at this number. At positive, this one's going to intersect or start at positive 6. This one's going to start down here at negative 2. This one will start down here at negative 4. And you'll see how that works as we continue to practice this. Let's turn it over. And look at this. So from a graph, I kind of just mentioned this a little bit. Again, we want to figure out when x is 0, what is y? Well, x is going to be 0 right here, right at the origin. Okay? So if x is 0, I need to know where does the line pass through the y-axis, and I can count 1, 2. This line passes through the y-axis at positive 2. Again, no math here. I just need to know in my brain, I know that the starting point, this b, is the y-intercept, and that's going to be where the line crosses the y-axis. In this case, it's a positive 2. How about over here? Where does this line cross through the y-axis? Can you tell me? Positive 5. Good. Right here. And again, here's x is 0. Y is 5. So when x is 0, y is 5. How about for the next one down over here? Positive 5 again. B equals positive 5. How about down here? What is this one right here? Can you see that? Negative 3. Good. Negative 3. That's where the line crosses that y-axis. Okay, so you can finish these out, and let's look at from a table. I mentioned this very quickly. Again, we want to know when x is 0 in any one of these scenarios. Very quickly in a table, I'm going to figure out when x is 0. We're here. I'm going to circle that set of x, y points when x is 0. Okay? I don't care about when y is 0. I want to know when x is 0 is going to tell me what b is. So when x is 0, b is a positive 1. For the next one, when x is 0, what's y? 0. So b is going to actually be 0. Same thing for the next one. When x is 0, y is 0. So that means my b is going to be 0. And for this last one, this is right off the star. When x is 0, what's y? Positive 15. Okay, so that pretty much sums up the y-intercept and how you find it. It's not really something that you calculate. It's something that you go into either a graph, a table, or the equation, and you find. I want you to go ahead and finish this out front and back before you start your quiz on the y-slope intercept form. Good job.